Good evening, it's James here. I thought I'd post a little video response to the comments that Steve Kaufman made about trying to sound like a native when you learn a foreign language. And I do agree with Steve in that 99.9% of the time it really is pretty futile to try and sound like a native, because a native is always going to notice, it will only be a little thing, but they will always notice that you're not a native speaker. However, one thing that Steve neglected to mention is that sometimes focusing on your accent is often the result of the pressure that you feel living in a foreign country. In certain countries, there is quite there's quite a judgmental attitude towards accents, and people will often judge your language level not on you sounding like a native, but on you having a certain accent from a certain country. And quite often, if people compliment you on your language skills, they will compliment you not for sounding like they do, but for not sounding like someone from your country. For example, in France, where I have a fair amount of experience working, a French person will never say you speak French well like a native. They will tend to say, oh yeah, oh you're German, but you don't have a German accent when you speak French. They don't necessarily mean that you have a French accent either, but they congratulate you on not having an accent from your country. So sometimes I think the trying to sound like a native is a result of the pressure from the environment in which a person lives. A good example of this is Eva Joly, who was a candidate in the French elections, and another French politician used the fact that she spoke French with a Danish accent, with a very light accent, admittedly, but Eva Joly is of Danish origin, Scandinavian origin, and another French politician used this as a way of scoring political brownie points. So I think sometimes people do not necessarily try to speak with a foreign accent, with a native accent in a foreign language, but they are pressed into doing it because they fear a certain ridicule, because if they don't do it. So, just my little 2p worth on the topic started by Steve about trying to sound like a native.